What's up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? Rogue Company has finally been released, and if you're either buying your way into the closed beta, if you've gotten a code, whatever has you getting into the game, you're probably wondering where exactly to start and who exactly are going to be in the top tier. Now, I've made a list of the rogues that I personally find to be the best, and I will give the caveats and the reasoning for them as we go through. And so what we're going to do is take them alphabetically and go in. There's only 13 rogues in the game right now, so that is going to kind of showcase where they all splatter, and of course they do all have their own unique strengths, but some are just better than others. So where do they go? Well, let's start off with Anvil. Anvil, big tanky guy, nice big wall, decent guns, nice LMG. He's got a really nice perk that's good, specifically against one of the guys that I have ranked up pretty high. But for the most part, Anvil just kind of feels lackluster. The ability to bring your own cover to a fight is nice, his damage is okay, but nothing he does is really solid that works all around in the game. He really is, defense oriented, and because he's so kind of shoehorned into one specific type of playstyle, I'm gonna have to throw him into C. He just fits best down there. Chuck is going to be the next one up on the list. Self-res, decent damage. If he doesn't use his Q as a res, it does give him bonus health, which can actually help you in a pinch for turning a fight around. A lot of what he does is honestly kind of sick, and I think the self-res itself is enough to be able to bring him forward, but his guns are also really, really solid, and I think that what he brings to the table in terms of fight potential can turn a game around. It's not anything that's necessarily at the top. It's not someone that you have to have every time you go into a game, but he definitely does make himself stand forward, and he goes up there into the A tier. Sitting pretty much right next to him is actually going to be Dallas, who's going to be up there as well. Dallas, again, good damage. He has a revolver for his main gun. His main weapons as well, or his side weapon, I should say. His main weapons are very solid as well, but it really is the fact that he snaps and reveals the one closest enemy to him within a radius, and then upon a kill, that refreshes, or it refreshes at the end of the round if you only get to use it once. So theoretically, and I've actually seen this happen, you can get a kill, not know where the next guy's coming from, snap, see them coming through the walls because of your reveal, and now you can win that fight. I think he really does hit the mark for somebody that's helpful for the team, gives you some useful information, and it really is that reveal that works around him. Now, these last two have had solid damage, but the thing is that they've had something else, auxiliary, a self-res, a reveal that can give you information through walls. Dima does damage better than I think pretty much anybody else in this game. I mean, he's got a cluster bomb, he's got grenades, everything about this guy is meant for damage, but the problem is he only does damage. He does have a little bit of a reveal, which kind of makes him teeter in my mind on the edge of A and B, but I think he's the best of the B tier. He is definitely someone who can fit into pretty much any composition. He is your standard run-of-the-mill guy everyone's going to be picking up in this game. Anybody can play him. Anybody can make him work. Some are probably going to look better than others. The cluster grenade can change a lot. He's actually really good against Anvil because of that. But for the most part, he does just kind of do the one thing, so he's going to end up getting put down there. Next on the list is Glitch, actually somebody who's pretty new if you've been playing this game for a little bit. He's not been in the game too long, and this guy, originally I was like, man, it doesn't sound like what he's going to do is sick. He is one of the best that I think could be in this game. What he is able to bring, he can remove your mini-map from you, assuming you have nothing else. But let's say Ronan throws her dagger down. You can hack that so it detonates it. Earlier, I got a kill by hacking the dagger, and it detonated on a teammate for him. So I think Glitch has a lot of potential, and with just 13 rogues in the game, he's already incredibly solid. I think as rogues get added in the future, as there are going to be maps that maybe make some of these rogues that are currently in the game play differently, I think this guy is going to be amazing at what he does. He really is just kind of a counterplay. If you play him at the right pace, it can help slow things down or bring things over in your favor for your team. So I think he is someone that absolutely can make a big run in this game. Next on that list is going to be Lancer. And much like Dima, she just kind of does damage well. She's got an interesting active ability, gives you some movement speed, allows you to move around a little bit faster. But it's not really that useful. In fact, honestly, the only times I've ever used it, it's been a detriment to me. It takes away some of your sound, so you can't hear enemy footsteps as well, and while you might be able to get some perks out of it, It honestly was only useful, I could see, if you needed to cross the map in some way or close space really fast. Her SMGs are solid damage. The ability to reload from a dodge roll is incredible. But because of the fact that her active isn't that great, her perks really aren't bringing anything special to the table either, she really does have to kind of sit down at B. Again, she does damage well. You could probably pick Dima in a place where Lancer would be, and you'd just be better off. You could pick Dallas or Chalk in the same place, and you'd just be better off. And honestly, she kind of teeters between B and C for me, but I think the damage she does is solid enough that she does warrant a B ranking, and that's just something she does really well. Next up is everyone's number one sniper babe, Phantom. I don't know if I want to call her a sniper babe. Just sniper when it comes down to it. She's really good at it. Has awesome hair as well. And Phantom is so good. You would think, man, sniper does damage well. Oh, well, it's a sniper, though, so you get some range and it's increased damage, so maybe A. I'm putting her up at S. She can one-shot headshot people. It's a one-shot down, and if you have some sick aimer on your team, dude, she is insane. One of the best that you can have. One of the perks that her gun gets later on not only reduces and eliminates damage fall off, but slightly before that lets you scope a little bit faster so you can feasibly go into a kind of a quick scope battle. It doesn't go up fast enough that you're feeling like, some of the older games where quick scoping originated, but it does give you a lot of flexibility for her. She's going to be very solid. I think in the right hands, she becomes a menace, and that's why she has to be up there at S. Most people are going to only be able to run her at an A tier level, but because of her high end and where that ceiling really is, I think you have to put her up in S. I think she's just going to be phenomenal. And coming in right behind her is actually Ronan. Again, sick jacket that comes through. And Ronan is one of those... I'm on the fence about her because I really like Ronan. But at the same time, she does kind of fit in with Dima and Lancer. Theoretically, she should be B tier because what she does is just damage better than others. But I think it's the fact that her ability, being able to throw this ballistic knife and plant it and then have it set up as kind of a trap, gives her a little bit of an edge. Grenades as a whole, even the cluster bomb as a whole, are going to be left, in a single spot, which is going to be interesting. But I think being able to set it up, Ronan has good defense. I think it can also apply for offense. You can cover a flank route so you can continue getting aggressive. She is very much like Dima, on that line of A and B. She's very solid. She's going to fit well into any composition. Most people are going to be able to play her well, but I do think her high end does warrant a little bit of a placement in tier, or an A tier as it comes through here. Saint will be the one right after her. Saint is incredibly good. Period. He's A when it comes down to it. And it's realistically the fact that his guns are nice. He's got a scoped weapon, which is sick, but it's the long range heal. Being able to pick up anyone on the map anywhere for your team is going to be helpful for you. And as long as you're within, your bounds, I guess, as a player, you know how you're going to be playing it. He can pick up people and give them a little bit more health when he does it. You can get a perk that allows you to pick people up. He really does feel and play much like a medic. His trip mine, his claymore essentially, is very, very good. And if you play him properly, I think he fits in just as well as some of these others. Maybe he's not bringing in as much. Maybe, I should add a kind of a B+, A- tier where Ronan and Saint are. But I think Saint's ability to heal a teammate across the map is going to be very solid. And hey, we're thinking of people who can help teammates. Maybe this person just helps themselves. Scorch is someone else that comes into the game. She is really cool. But much like Dima, much like Lancer, honestly, a lot like Ronan, even a little bit like Phantom, all she does is damage really well. Phantom can one-shot, though. Ronan has some defensive plays. Dima, Lancer, and Scorch here now joining them in B, they just do damage really well. They do a ton of damage that comes out, and Scorch even has the ability to set people on fire with her damage. But it's that ability that comes through, Ronan or Dima's reveal, Scorch also being able to kind of use that from tick damage from the fire. It's really cool. She has immunity to fire, so you can use mollies in an interesting way. But again, if you're picking her, There's places where, somebody who a quick scoping Phantom is going to work. That being said, like Scorch works on every map. Phantom doesn't usually work on every map. Some maps just don't facilitate snipers as well, or you have to hold specific angles. Chalk is going to fit in. So she's just kind of in the middle. I think a lot of the maps are going to play to their strengths, but as a whole, every single time, you could pick Lancer, you could pick Dima, you could pick Ronan, Chalk, Dallas, and still not be missing really anything from Scorch being gone from your team. Next up is Talon. Guys, Talon is cool. He's got an interesting kit, the ability to pick things up from range. You just kind of look at him and say, cool, now you're mine. It's really awesome. You can throw a melee weapon, call it back. It's kind of like Thor with Mjolnir in the Marvel movies. You can throw it out there, pull, and call your hammer right back to you. The problem is, you don't use it. It's such a cool idea, but you just don't use it. I think because of that, Talon just at the bottom of the list, because realistically, he doesn't have a good fit for the rest of this. Everybody else, you've got damage amp, you've got grenades, you've got ballistics, you've got reveals, you just got straight up a sniper rifle that one-shots people, or you can remove other people's abilities, and Talon can say, cool, I can grab that thing over there for you. And it's interesting in certain cases, and there's obviously going to be some outliers that make this look good, but 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100 even, you're not really going to see Talon stepping forth and being this insane player unless someone's making some sick plays. And that's, I think, the other side of this conversation I'll get to at the end, that I want to see what happens in the future with it. But as of right now, I just don't see him making that huge splash. Next, we have Trench. And Trench falls into the same category as Anvil to me. Really good on defense, but a lot of what he does is only really good on defense. He brings some decent guns, maybe some decent damage and perks, but when it comes down to it, if you're on offense, you might as well go with literally anybody above the list on them. And if you're on defense, yeah, you can flex them in there. I think they're going to be helpful for you on defense. I think having the cover, having the barbed wire is nice. But at the same time, you could cover them with a sniper. You could hack their minimap. You could just have a straight-up healer for your team in case they get too aggressive or go faster than you want. I think he's in an interesting spot. He's definitely not misplayed and underbalanced. I just don't think he has a huge home on every team, which is probably the point for it. And, he finds his place right there next to Anvil in a very stylized style of play. And then the last one on the list is Vi. A lot of you might have seen her. She's really cool. She's got poison that comes through and allows you to reduce the max health of your opponent. And it gives her that max health that comes through. Unfortunately, it's only in a certain spot. It's kind of wonky to aim and to land it, so she doesn't necessarily get it in a very easy and fast way. You kind of have to hope they just stand there and take the damage. So it falls through and fits in, much like with Dima, with Lancer, with Scorch. She does damage, and she does damage well, but really all she does is just damage. It doesn't necessarily stand out, doesn't come through, but when you throw her in there, she's not bad to pick up. There's others you can replace her with, and you're not going to necessarily be missing her, and I think that's going to be the biggest point. But honestly, you look at the spread on this, Roko's pretty well balanced when it comes down to it. Phantom being S tier, it's only S tier in the right hands. Honestly, you give her to the wrong hands, she's D tier. She's not going to hit those snipes. You give her to some middle ground, she's going to be A tier, B or T. A T or B T? A tier or B tier down there. I mean, there's certain instances where somebody, like me, who maybe isn't going to be able to hit those snipes, would do better with Dallas or Dima or Lancer, where you can just have a full auto weapon. So I think this is one that comes through, is based on player skill. It's going to look good, but the game's pretty well balanced right now. I'm excited to see if any of this changes as time goes on, whether it's balance changes that come through in the game, or just some sick players that change my mind about what they can do. I'm looking at you, Talon. Something is going to happen with that guy. But that's going to do it for this tier list. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Of course, you can you can comment if you believe something different. You can subscribe for more content. I'm going to be focusing a lot on Rogue Company. You can also follow me on Twitch at, Gore_Miser to be able to come in and watch these streams that come through. And as always, you can just leave a follow on Twitter and keep your eyes on me all around the internet. But thank you so much for watching. We'll see what happens.